Over the last few months, I've received some of the best testimonials that I have ever received in my business, and I want to talk about how I was able to make this possible. For one of my offers, it is now officially 1 year old, which is Plug and Get Paid. There are 1,400 people inside, and for the first about 8 to 9 months of having this offer, I had only received about 10 to 15 testimonials, which is not a lot in comparison to the amount of people who were joining this offer on a monthly basis. And I knew that this offer was life changing. It had changed my life. And I actually created this offer originally for myself and then started selling it because I knew it was so valuable. But I was not seeing those testimonials come in. And now that I've set up this new system that I'm about to walk you through here in just a second, I receive testimonials 1 to 2 times per week for that offer, which is absolutely amazing. And the quality of the testimonial is like top tier, high quality. And then for the other offer that I'm going to talk about, for the first time, have received video testimonials. I would always ask for video testimonials in my form, and no one would ever submit video testimonials. So I want to talk about how I got some of the most, I'm going to say heart-touching, heartfelt maybe would be a better word, video testimonials, and what I was able to, how I was able to set that up, basically. So one of them is a low ticket offer, one of them is a high ticket offer. And the last thing I want to say before I actually jump into talking about what I set up to make this happen is the different types of testimonials. So the way that I categorize my testimonials is informal testimonials and then formal testimonials. They both hold the same weight. They're obviously both very important because they're testimonials, but informal testimonials are more so like someone maybe responding to one of my sales emails. Maybe I'm selling, let's just say IG University, and they've purchased IG University and they hit reply and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm loving IG University. That would be more of like an informal testimonial. Same thing with a direct message. Like someone's going to shoot me a direct message and they're like, I've been going through, let's just say Plug and Get Paid. I love Plug and Get Paid. That is still a testimonial. It's still great. I'm still going to utilize that, but that's more of an informal testimonial. A formal testimonial, on the other hand, is where I am actually having them go through and fill out a form, and there are strategic questions that I've laid out in this form to collect specific information that I can use to create like case studies or to create a more well-rounded picture of someone's transformation that they've received from that specific offer. Like if I'm sharing about it on a sales page or even in like my sales content on my Instagram story. So informal and formal. And so the testimonials that I'm going to be talking about are more formal testimonials. There is different methods that I use to get more of those informal testimonials, but I will say that the formal testimonials are the easier ones to automate. More of the informal testimonials generally are taking like manual effort, which there's nothing wrong with that, but I obviously love the automation aspect of things, so I can just see these testimonials coming in on a weekly basis and me not having to do anything after I initially set up the system. So for Plug and Get Paid, what I went in and set up is basically a back end automation where not only am I just asking them to send a testimonial in, I've had a bunch of different offers where I've had that type of format set up where, let's just say, 2 to 4 to 6 weeks after someone has purchased a specific offer, they're going to get an email that says, hey, you've been through this offer or you've been in this offer for the last month, send in a testimonial or fill out this form and share your testimonial with me. I've had that set up prior and it doesn't convert very well. Now, what I ended up coming across, I want to say I actually came across this over a year ago, but I didn't really do anything with this information. I saw someone, a different business owner, talking about this specific tool. It's called Senja, and I'll link a link down below for you in the show notes that'll give you a $1 trial. I think you get $1 for 2 months or something like that. Crazy. Maybe it's just $1 for your first month. But anyways, $1, you can't compete with that. And it's a testimonial collection tool. And so I saw another creator talk about this, and I had taken like a screenshot and maybe even written it down in my notes of like, come back to this at some point. And when I was looking at how many people were inside of Plug and Get Paid a few months ago, and I was looking at like my testimonial bank, like I have a place where I collect all of my testimonials and organize them by offer. I was like, I don't have very many testimonials for Plug and Get Paid. And I was like, this needs to change. And so I remembered at the back of my head, like Senja. So I started looking that up. And I sent out an email to everyone who had purchased Plug and Get Paid. And that was like an active, like I obviously manually sent that out to them. It wasn't like set up in an automation on the back end of Plug and Get Paid. I actively sent that out to them and I was like, hey, if you fill out this form inside of like Senja, which is basically, think of it like you're looking at a Google form, but it's a way to gamify a Google form. And so they can fill out, all the answers to your questions. But then at the end, once they hit submit, there's like a little wheel that they can spin. And that wheel, you can add a bunch of like coupon codes or free access to different things or money back or like whatever you want to add in as like a bonus or incentive. And so that is really, really fun. And obviously it incentivizes more people to actually leave testimonials. And so I sent it out to I think at the time there was like around 1,000 people who had purchased Plug and Get Paid. And I got a bunch of really, really, really amazing testimonials just from sending that out actively. And I was like, okay, obviously I don't want to keep actively sending out these emails asking for testimonials. So I set it up on the back end of Plug and Get Paid. So specifically for Plug and Get Paid, since it is a low cost offer, I want to say off the top of my head, I think it's around 4 weeks after they've joined Plug and Get Paid, which gives them plenty enough time to have started to use the templates, implement the templates, see results from the templates. And that's a really, really key piece that I have learned with when you're asking for the testimonial. If you are asking for more of like that informal testimonial, maybe like via chat support or direct message, or even if like you have like a Facebook group and you're just like asking like a simple question where it's like, hey, week 1 is done, like just checking in on you, like how are things going? That's more of like an informal testimonial. And those are really great for like those check-ins. But if you really want a solid testimonial that's a formal testimonial, you want to be really strategic about when you actually ask for that. And what I mean by that is you want to ask them when they've actually had time to see the transformation, because otherwise they're not going to fill it out, or they are going to fill it out and it's not going to be like a full representation of how amazing that offer is because you asked for the formal testimonial too soon. So that's something to keep in mind, and every offer is going to be different, right? If it's a low cost versus mid cost versus a high cost, but also if it's different types of low cost, whether we're talking about a template or an ebook or a masterclass, like the time frame of them actually achieving the transformation of that offer is going to be so different. So just thinking about that and thinking to myself, asking yourself, which is what I was asking myself, what is the ideal time frame that I would love for someone to have gone through this offer and actually seen results from it? And so for me, about 4 weeks into Plug and Get Paid, it's given them plenty of time. Hopefully they've sold for a full 30 days at that point. That would be the ultimate goal, is they've used the templates to sell every single day and gotten into that consistent routine. And so I'm asking them at a time where they have probably already seen sales and leads come in, hopefully from implementing the usage of the Plug and Get Paid templates. So I asked them at 4 weeks, and I asked them multiple times. So that is another thing with testimonials, especially these formal testimonials. People want to give you testimonials, but they are busy and they just simply forget. Like I remember a time where I had just exited a mastermind, and it was a 4-month mastermind and it was super, super awesome. And she had sent out an email and she was like, hey, leave a testimonial. And I was like, oh yes, I need to leave a testimonial. So I actually had read that email and then I unread it because I was like, okay, I'm going to come back when I have some more time and I'm going to leave a testimonial. And you know how life is. Life just is lifing and it's busy. And I think, at that time I was pregnant with my first at the time. Anyways, craziness of life, it was happening. And so then she sent out another email, and I'm assuming she probably just sent it out to everyone who was inside the mastermind, but it was, reminding me, hey, fill out the testimonial form. And I was like, okay, yes, I need to fill this out. Again, at the back of my mind, I was like, okay, I need to do this. And so I again read and then unread that email just so it was like the notification so I'd remember it. And then she sent out another email, and it took me 3 emails for me to actually fill out that form. But every single time she sent an email, I was like, oh yes, I want to fill that out. I want to fill it out. I want to fill it out. But it just never was the right time. So there's so much power in repetitively asking for testimonials, even on a lower cost offer, for sure. So that is something that I have also implemented with Plug and Get Paid, is there are multiple times where I'm asking them for a testimonial. And that doesn't mean like every single day, like for a week you're needing to ask for a testimonial. Definitely not the case. Like at 4 weeks, I asked for a testimonial. And then I think 5 days later, I ask for a testimonial, and then like maybe another 7 days after that, I ask for a testimonial, or it's just like a reminder of like, hey, fill out this testimonial form. Whereas like the first email is more of like that built out of like what why I want them to leave a testimonial, like the results that I hope that they've seen. If not, like reminding them to dive in and use Plug and Get Paid. Whereas like the emails after that are more of just like, hey, this is just a reminder to leave a testimonial if you haven't already, and then leaving like the link. So they're like short and sweet emails. And again, because Senja gamifies things, I'm able to tell them inside of those emails where if they fill out the form that they're going to be able to get either discounts or free offers. So those are two things that I have set up inside of my Senja is if you spin the wheel, I think there's 6 different opportunities of like things that you can win when you spin the wheel. I think 2 of them are free, and then the other ones are like super heavily discounted. Like I'm talking like, I think one of them is like 80% off. And so it's a really, really great way to incentivize people to leave testimonials. And that's all done through Senja. And I also love Senja too, because not only does it gamify the process, but there's also a whole system that you can have set up inside of Senja where once they leave the testimonial, there's like an automated email that Senja sends out where it's like, hey, thanks for leaving, this testimonial. And then also too, if they have spun the wheel, it'll include like what their prize was inside of that email. So that way they don't have to like, if they don't want to like purchase that offer or claim that right away, they have that in their email. And then also too, you can set it up depending on the tool that you use for your business, like to sell your offers. You can actually have it set up where it integrates directly into things like Kajabi or don't quote me on this. I'm just like spitting things out off the top of my mind, but like other course platforms, I know for sure it integrates with Kajabi because that's what I use. But you can have it set up where once someone purchases your offer, like automatically triggers to have them leave a testimonial. So that would work great if you have offers where the time to transformation is like really, really short. So that's just something else that I love about Senja as well. So that is the thing that I've implemented into Plug and Get Paid that has helped me to get those testimonials 1 to 2 times per week. And again, just to recap on that, it's setting up those automated emails that send out after 4 weeks after someone has joined Plug and Get Paid, but specifically using the tool Senja to gamify the process. So it incentivizes people to actually leave those testimonials, and then being strategic with the questions that I'm asking inside of that Senja form. So that way, I am getting all the information that I need to really have a full picture view of the transformation. So what was someone struggling with before? Why do they love the offer? Specific things that they love about the offer, any wins that they've had, where are they at now because of that? So it just gives that full picture view. Now, scalability, on the other hand, is my high cost offer. This is my highest, my 3rd highest ticket offer. So I have my one-on-one coaching, which is my highest, and then my mastermind, and then scalability. And so Plug and Get Paid, I don't know if I already said this, but Plug and Get Paid is a low cost offer. So that is very different than scalability. Scalability is anywhere between $897 a month to $1,097 a month, just depending on the plan that you join in. And so before I officially relaunched scalability as an evergreen offer, I knew that I wanted to really revamp the sales page and really pull in solid testimonials. And I wanted to do video testimonials. I know that there's so much power in having those video testimonials. I had really great testimonials from scalability that were written ones that you will also see on the scalability sales page as well. But I wanted those video testimonials, especially for that higher cost offer, because there's just something that's so powerful about seeing someone actually speak it. And also, I feel like a lot of other people who have ever tried to collect testimonials know that it's really hard to get video testimonials. I mean, I've tried to collect video testimonials for 4 years in my business, and I've never been able to accomplish getting people to actually leave video testimonials. Like there's always a space in my forums to leave a video testimonial, but people just don't. And I totally understand, because like my perspective too, like if I'm going through a form, life is just busy, and like I'm not going to sit, even if that offer has really, really transformed my life, like I'm like, oh, I'm just busy, or like, oh, I'll come back to that. Like, oh, let me just leave like a written testimonial for now. And so there is like a bigger barrier to having people leave those video testimonials. So what I ended up doing, and I am going to preface this by saying this is not going to make sense for you to do for all of your offers. And that's why I was really clear on saying that this is for a high ticket offer, because this made sense for a high ticket offer for me. This would not make sense for a low ticket offer for me. Maybe if I was like starting my business and I was really wanting those testimonials for like a lower cost offer, I might have done that. But for me, I would say, and also in terms of recommending implementing this strategy, I would say definitely for like a higher cost offer. But I ended up running a 2-week free mastermind for people who left a video testimonial, and I capped it at 6 spots. And so I ended up having, I think, 8 people leave video testimonials, and I just did like a random draw. So like I entered their names into, I always just type in like spin the wheel on Google, and then I just like type their names into the free one. And so I just chose 6 people via that. And then obviously I used all of those video testimonials on my sales page for scalability. But because there was a really valuable, I guess, return for them leaving a testimonial, there were some really, really awesome videos that were submitted, and people actually took the time to leave those video testimonials to get access to this 2-week free mastermind that I did. And it wasn't like 2 full weeks of chat support. I was only in the 2-week mastermind for about 2 days. And actually, now that I'm saying this out loud, maybe that's something that I'm going to break down inside of a future podcast episode, is like how I structured that, because it was really, really powerful for the people who were inside as well, in getting them to upgrade into some of my other offers, which wasn't the intention. Like my intention of running that was just to run it and to thank them for sending in video testimonials. But it was also, of course, an opportunity for me to continue to serve those people and impact them and support them inside of different offers as well. So all that being said, that is how I was able to get those video testimonials, is by entering people into a giveaway to get something that was super high value. And so this could look like for you also maybe running a free mastermind. It could even be a week mastermind. It could be a 2-week mastermind like I did. It could be entering them into a giveaway to win like free one-on-one coaching with you, or maybe they can win free access to one of your courses or whatever it might be. But having something that's like a little bit higher of an incentive for something that's a high cost offer to get those video testimonials. And you might have to play around with what people are willing to take time out of their day to leave a testimonial for in order to be like entered into that giveaway. Because something like, in my opinion, like if I see something that's like a $97 course where I'm going to be entered into a giveaway, it's not going to be something that I'm personally going to go out of my way to leave a video testimonial for. So something that's like really, really exciting and something that you don't often do. Like that's the first time and probably the only time that I'll ever run a 2-week free mastermind. It's amazing, but obviously like that's a lot of my time and energy giving to those people in return for a video testimonial. But at the time and in that season with my capacity, it totally made sense. And also knowing that like I now have those video testimonials that will just live on my website as I continue to sell Scalability Evergreen. So I hope that there's some juicy little things that you can implement from today's episode on how to increase testimonials. And again, everything will be linked down in the show notes.